briefly discussing about design thinking mindset. So these are the different design thinking mindset we were discussing. So focus on human value. We treat, design thinkers treat customers as humans rather than a customer as it is. When you treat customer as a customer, there is obviously, okay, there is a profit motivation is there. Of course, okay, any business can survive without profit maximization. But if you are giving a value to the customer, the outcome is the profit. So first objective will be giving the best solution to the customer. The outcome is the profit. So normally companies work on otherwise. They want to have a profit maximization. The second is the value proposition to the customers. Okay. Then, okay, design thinkers. So we do have, we will come across a lot of tools, okay, where we will show to different stakeholders. So we will discuss about what are the different stakeholders design thinkers needs to work. Embrace experimentation. So we welcome, new kind of jumping into the water, okay, understanding new process, okay, embrace, and basically we talk about, okay, taking risk, and basically, okay, the failures is not considered as bad, okay. So fast fail and learn fast. So that is a philosophy of design thinking. There is process is there, okay. Obviously design thinking goes through a structured process. That is why, okay, initially, even though there's a lot of ambiguity, uncertainty in the problem, is that we will be able to get clarity, okay. And we work with different people, different domains, okay, because it's amalgamation or aggregation of different subjects. That's the beauty of design thinking. And finally, it is biased towards actions. Okay, so that is where we stopped on last day. So let us move forward. So we have, there are a lot of companies who have implemented design thinking, and they were able to generate a lot of value. Their market capitalization also become really increased or enhanced because of design thinking. So Netflix, Airbnb, Amazon. So they have a separate team, okay, who always work for the innovation and as well as for the R&D. Now, just I think I had a brief discussion about Netflix, how Netflix become the one of the leader in the OTT platforms. Now, let me give another scenario. Google actually in the search engine market, Google came very late. So earlier, the search engine market was actually dominated by companies like Yahoo, Microsoft, Bing, okay. A couple of other players were there. So Google was a very late entrant. Nowadays, the word Google actually, it is actually synonym with the search. Right? If I ask my kids, okay, go to the search engine, okay, they may not be able to recognize that. So people say that go and Google it. Now, my question to you is, even though it is a late entrant in the market, how did Google capture the, now they are dominating, okay. I think there is no competition for Google as it is. So what is the reason? So before Google launching their search engine, okay, so they did a user survey. They try to understand what are the pain points with the existing players. The biggest pain point they found out is, for example, if you take Yahoo as a search engine, I don't know, you remember, okay, Yahoo search engine, okay, if you go to the home page, okay, their business model is completely different. Their business model is giving a lot of advertisement as well as news in the homepage, and it is very difficult to find out where is the search tab. You need to really search where is the search tab. But if you look on the Google, okay, it is very simple. Am I right? Okay, so it's a plain page. Okay, there is a big search tab is there. Okay, you can see the logo and you can put the information. So Google, if you take about any Google product, it is very simple to use. It is very easy to use. Now, a lot of people say that, okay, it is making things complicated is actually requires a lot of intelligence, but making things very easy is actually requires a lot of intelligence. And Google mastered that art. That is the first thing. Now, second thing, like Nikita told that, okay, their background algorithm works very fast. Okay, they are able to search results comparing to other competitors. And they have as Rinju told that, okay, so they are aggregator, they search or aggregate information from different sources. Normally, I think I don't know whether you have observed, okay, if you put some kind of information and try to make a search, okay, in the bottom, you can see something like that, 15 lakh searches, 15 lakh results, or 20 lakh results. So what is the perception which it comes to the customers when they see this? Okay, they feel that, okay, Google is the ultimate thing. Okay, there's no need to go to any search engine. I can find everything in the Google. But my question to you is Google is a right search engine, or Google is a very effective search engine? They're very smart in getting business by
So,
SEO, Google Ads, and everything. Okay, but if you are a serious researcher, or if you are a scientific researcher, Google may not be a right platform. Okay, I'll give you a scenario. Okay, now I want to understand that whether Sachin or Brain Lara, okay, who is better? Now, if you actually search in the Google, okay, whether Sachin or Lara is better batsman, what does it gives to you? It gives a lot of information, okay, which was mentioned about Sachin or Brain Lara. It does not give a specific data. Am I right or not? Okay, so they may give a lot of information. Okay, so they can give a lakhs of information which talks about Sachin or a Brain Lara. Basically, Google is an aggregator. It does not analyze data. Now there is another search engine is there. It is called knowledge search machine. Okay, I don't know whether you heard about something called Wolfram Alpha. Okay, so if you actually input the data in Wolfram Alpha and say that whether Sachin or Brain Lara is better, you can really get the data. So how many innings is played by Sachin, how many innings played by Lara, what is the maybe the strike rate, okay, what is the total aggregate runs, okay, what is how many overs, okay, played by Sachin, how many overs played by Lara. So it give a lot of input and data. Okay. So even there are a lot of other platforms where you can search specific information. That is what I said. If you are a serious researcher, if you're a scientific researcher, Google may not be a good platform. Now, so we have seen some cases. I can say a lot of cases about companies, okay, who successfully implement design thinking. Now, people generally feel that, okay, design thinking is only used by the multinational companies and other corporates to enhance their profit maximization. Now, it can be used for solving the social problems. So I just want to share one live example. Okay, you may be knowing, okay, so a lot of babies born in the world are, they're called premature babies. Okay, so premature babies is, what is the challenge when a baby is born prematurely? Okay, so it is estimated that around 20 million premature and underweight babies are born every year. So can you tell me what is the challenge if the baby is born prematurely? What is the biggest challenge? So if you go a little bit deep into medical terminology, so babies who are born prematurely, they have a condition called hypothermia. So what is hypothermia? So hypothermia is a condition where you cannot manage your body temperature with the external conditions. So that is why, okay, the incubator is actually needed. So it is being estimated that around 3 million babies die within first 28 days of life. That is something very horrible numbers. Okay, 6 babies per minute. Now what happened is, okay, only the cities, or only the countries having this. I mean, if you talk about India, the only the metros or major cities have this incubator facilities. But if you go to the remote part of India, or if you go to the Nepal or Africa, this incubator facility will not be available, and it is very costly also. So normally, okay, they go for orthodox method called, okay, I mean, they will wrap in a blanket, or they put a very unorthodox. I mean, this is a picture taken from Africa. So because of all these reasons, a lot of babies being died. Okay, so This was a challenge, okay, and this challenge was actually given to Stanford University, given by Stanford University as an innovation challenge. You know, universities, even corporates, they do give a lot of challenges for the students. For example, my company, okay, we identify certain problem statement and we actually open to our students. We say that, okay, if you solve this challenge, okay, we will give you cash prize plus jobs, okay, plus other perks. Now, fortunately, okay, there were two Indians were there. So they actually thought about, okay, how we can solve this problem. So the user is desperate, Indian Nepalese mother. What is the need to keep premature baby warm? So the existing thinking is how you can make a low-cost incubator where people from all over the world can afford it. I just want to show you a small video. You just observe this video and try to understand, okay, how they actually solve this problem.
The single most dangerous day of a baby's life is the day of their birth. Each year, more than 1 million newborns die on their birthday, and 3 million more within their first few weeks of life. The leading causes of these deaths are preventable and treatable conditions related to prematurity and low birth weight, including hypothermia. When babies are born premature, many are unable to regulate their own body heat. Room temperature can feel freezing cold. In the developed world, these babies would be placed into an incubator. But for babies born in parts of the world without access to modern medical equipment, desperate mothers and fathers wrap their babies in blankets, pack them near hot water bottles, or place them under bare light bulbs to keep warm. Many of these babies die, and those that survive often suffer from debilitating health issues. For millions of babies around the world, the difference between life and death is a little warm. That's why there's Embrace. Embrace is a non-profit organization dedicated to advancing maternal and child health by delivering innovative solutions to the world's most vulnerable populations. Our infant warmer is safe, effective, reusable, and inexpensive, costing less than 1% of the price of an incubator. And even better than an incubator, it allows close mother-child contact for bonding, feeding, and transport. Using an innovative phase change material, the infant warmer maintains the perfect temperature for up to 6 hours. Embrace has won numerous design awards and received international recognition. But technology alone isn't enough to save lives. That's why we partner with local governments and nonprofit organizations to raise awareness about hypothermia, provide culturally and linguistically appropriate training on kangaroo mother care, and educate mothers, caretakers, and healthcare workers on a range of other maternal health issues. Embrace has already helped save the lives of thousands of low birth weight and premature infants. But millions more are in need of a little warmth. That's why we need your help. Will you donate an infant warmer today?
Okay. So this was the solution they actually made. Okay, I mean, it does not require electricity. You can pour the boiled water, and you can make the baby warm for at least 6 hours. And this cost only 1% of the traditional incubator. Now, this design is inspired from Kangaroo. Okay, maybe you can say that, okay, problem exploration and critical thinking. Now, I just want to uh, reiterate that, okay, design thinking can be really useful in solving a lot of social problems. So currently I'm associated with one project with government of Kerala. So what we do is we try to identify a lot of problems, okay, faced by common people. Okay, so we try to engage with a lot of government officers who try to engage with the public, okay, for solving the social problems. We try to make maybe little thinking, little change in the thinking pattern, how they can identify the problem, how they can empathize with the users, okay, without much cost, okay, without much, maybe we can have some frugal innovation which does not require much cost. So that project is actually currently happening now. I'm also doing a little part of my contribution for that, okay, as a voluntary basis. So it have a huge scope, okay. I mean, what I mean to say that apart from the corporate for profit maximization, it can be used for solving a lot of social problems. So this can be applied in any industry, solves problem, reinforce innovation, strengthen leadership. So what do you mean by strengthen leadership? Uh, if you talk about, okay, I mean, I'm actually representing L&D of an organization.
Okay.
So what I observed is that, okay, so earlier, okay, we used to have a lot of training like coaching skills, okay, then what do you say, okay, strategic thinking, okay, a lot of sessions, project management, a lot of sessions we have conducted. But design thinking is now becomes a very important component of most of the leadership trainings. Design thinking as well as agile methodology, because as Nikita rightly mentioned that when you have a design thinking approach, especially when you make a strategy, okay, so finally the user is the key for any organization. Unless and otherwise, if you don't provide a value to the users, all the strategies, all the investments will go waste. So this is very critical for all the leadership people, okay, and this is not only for the designers. So design thinking can be used by all people, even entrepreneurs, business owners, okay. As Rinju said, that educational professionals, okay, where you can build a curriculum, okay, based on design thinking practices. So there's a research conducted at Hasso Planner Institute that, okay, when you implement a design thinking methodology in the organization, it improves the working culture. And even the market capitalization of the companies are very higher comparing to the other companies. I think you are familiar with these terminologies, S&P 500. Okay, do you know the concept called market capitalization? So it's basically very simple. Okay, how the market capitalization is calculated. For example, a company issues 100 shares, and in the market the share value is 5 rupees. Assume it is a 5 rupees. So 100 into 5, that is a 500 rupees. Now, recently we have seen Adani become the third richest person in the world. Okay, suddenly, okay, his ranking slides to 9 or 10. Okay, because of the changes in the market capitalization. Okay? Because market value of one share comes down. Okay, so S&P is the just like a BSC, okay, or in Nifty. S&P 500 is the top 500 companies in the world, Standard and Poor. Okay, so this is a market capitalization of Standard and Poor. They're comparing with the companies who have implemented design thinking. So there are around 211% differences there. So there's a survey conducted by World Economic Forum. Okay, so they try to understand what will be the top 10 skills in 2025. So these are the top 10 skills. And if you having a design thinking mindset, okay, you can improve the analytical thinking, you can have an active learning, you can have a complex problem solving skills, you have a critical thinking ability, you will have a creativity. So normally when you understand design thinking, okay, there is a you can actually enhance these kinds of skill sets. So these are the few key elements of design thinking. One is people-centric, highly creative, hands-on, and iterative. What do you mean by iterative? Have you ever heard about something called iterative? It's a making changes, but there's a small differences there. So this is a loop. Okay, I mean, so normally all the problem solving methodology will go as a linear process. Okay, I mean, sorry, parallel process. It may start from process A, process B, process C, okay, process D. Okay, it will not be an iterative. Let me give an example. Can you tell me who is the largest car manufacturer in the world? The largest car manufacturer is Toyota. Okay. Now, if you actually look Toyota, okay, Toyota is fairly a new company comparing to a Ford or General Motors. Okay. Toyota actually started its operations in 1970s. So they were competing with companies like Ford, okay, which have more than 100 years of existence. Now, how Toyota becomes successful? Let us take little backward. Japan is the third largest economy in the world. Okay. Now, if you take Japan as a country, Japan have lot of constraints or lot of disadvantages. Can you tell me what are the constraints of Japan or disadvantages of Japan as a country? So one reason, as Nikita rightly mentioned, it is a very small country. Okay. Then if you talk about the geography of Japan, around 70% of Japan consists of islands or it is mountainous. So it is not suitable for agriculture. It is not suitable for even for the industry also. Now, second, it is very prone to natural calamities. Okay, earthquakes. Okay, even tsunamis like a daily affairs for them. That is the second. Third one, okay, Japanese having the one of the highest life expectancy. So whether life expectancy is good for the economy? Obviously, no. Am I right? Okay. So what is the advantage with India? So more than 50% of the Indians are less than 35 years of age. So we have the largest skilled workforce in the world. That is why we are growing exponentially also. Now, third, it is having a high density of population. Fourth, after the Second World War, Japan was completely devastated. Okay. Next, they have less natural resources compared to India and China. So despite all these constraints, Japan became the third largest economy in the world. So can you tell me what can be the reason or what is the success secret behind Japan? So when you talk about Japanese product, like what perception comes to your mind? It's a high quality product, am I right? If you talk about Chinese product, the product, we may say that it is a Chinese product. It's not up to the mark. German product, yeah, it's really have high quality. Now, Japan captured the market because they are able to produce high quality products. Now, they had a challenge because especially after the Second World War, they have less natural resources, they have less financial resources. So they started thinking, okay, with the less resources, how they can actually optimize or maximize. Okay. Now they started thinking about bringing a lot of innovations in their manufacturing process. I don't know, you heard about something called TKM, Six Sigma, Kanban. Okay, so there are a lot of process innovation or manufacturing process are there. In fact, all the process being originated in US. Okay, but US, they had a lot of abundance. Okay, so they were not very keen into implementing this process. Since Japan have a lean resources, they came out with or implementing all these kind of process. Okay, you maybe heard about something lean production system, GIT, just in time production, because they don't want to, as Rinju said that, okay, their main objective is to reduce wastage. So whenever there is demand comes, okay, they aggregate or they take the supply of the raw materials and they try to start the manufacturing process. Now, Toyota, I mean, if you talk about the modern product management or modern design, okay, all principles actually originated from Japanese companies. And the best example is Toyota production system. So they implemented a few, or they pioneered the few techniques such as Kaizen. Have you heard about something called Kaizen? Kaizen, it's a Japanese word. So Toyota believed that, okay, the major changes will come only incrementally. Okay. Now, if you talk about India, okay, now after every election, okay, the people, the politicians say that, okay, once we come into the power, okay, we will make massive changes in India. But they believe that all the changes will come incrementally. If you make a 0.2% on a day, okay, if it is every day, if you consistently make that improvement, over a period of 1 year, you have a dramatic improvement in the process. So what they do, Toyota, every day they will come together. Okay, employees will come together. Okay, either through platforms or either through in the manufacturing side. They try to think how they can improve their process. Okay, so they have a system called there's something called in car manufacturing, there's something called assembly line production system. Have you heard about something called assembly line production system? So what is the assembly line production system? So it will go to a sequence of process. So maybe it started with the chassis, then fitting the tires, fitting the engine. It goes to the different stages. So Toyota have a system called if I am in a department called painting department. Now, if I found out there was some defect in the chassis, so I have an option to switch on one button. So what happened is that this product will come back to the chassis department. So the damage is being rectified. So that is what is called iterative process. So rather than waiting for the entire assembly line system to be finished, at any point of time, if any defect is being identified, they can recall or they can revisit to the earlier process. So that is called iterative process. So can you tell me, can you just guess, how much time, for example, the Toyota Innova, how much time Toyota requires to manufacture a Toyota Innova? I mean, the assembly line production system. It just started with a chassis. There are a lot of processes there. Tire needs to be fixed. Electrical needs to be fixed. Painting, lot of things need to be done. What will be your guess? How much time it will take? Actually, it takes less than 30 minutes. So I'll just come back to the point. So I was discussing about iterative. So iteration is very, very important. So this actually helps us to avoid a lot of big damages, failures, product recalls. So how design thinking is different from traditional approach? Traditional approach talks about reports, scared of failing. Certainties need to be there in the traditional approach. We will embrace ambiguity, focus on solution, focus on human values. Every system, every process needs to be perfect. Here we iterate, talk about idea and make your idea. Maybe another difference is in the case of traditional business thinking, we have a problem, then we have a solution. In the design thinking, we will expand the problem. So what if we're expanding the problem? So for example, air pollution in Delhi, that is a problem. So can you able to expand a little bit further? Making the problem bigger. I mean, for example, at first instance, we say that air pollution may causes a lot of damage to the human beings, but it is not only the human beings, am I right? There are a lot of even the animals, even the birds, even the buildings. Whether it costing our economy, whether it is impacting of the image. Do you understand where I am coming? So basically, the problem needs to be actually dive into the deep. We need to really understand what is the impact of the problem affecting, who are the different users or who are the different stakeholders getting affected with the problem. So design thinkers always believe in something called human-centered design. So what do you mean by human-centered design? So it consists of balancing desirability, viability, and feasibility. I'll explain one by one. So the best innovation or the best product is one, which having a combination or this considered as a Venn diagram, where this is the highest level of innovation. Now, what do you mean by business viability? What do you mean by technological feasibility? And what is by people acceptability? Let us start with business viability. Either it should be business viable or socially sustainable. For example, we were talking about Embrace. It may not be viable from a business aspect. That is why they are seeking funds. It should be socially sustainable. Now, let me take an example. Delhi Metro. So now it is very efficient. You can go to most of the parts of Delhi. With less time and with less cost. Now, after tasting the success of Delhi Metro, now most of the state capitals are vying or they are trying to start constructing the metros. Now let us take in Kerala. So in Cochin, we do have something called Kochi Metro. Now Kochi Metro is making 1 crore loaves every day. Now it is becoming a white elephant. Now if you want to if a metro needs to be successful, okay, there are certain important parameters there. One parameter is minimum there should be an X number of population, and second, it should be a floating population. If you talk about Cochin, okay, Cochin does not have a much population like Mumbai or Delhi, or it does not have a much floating population. So we don't have much industries, okay? Especially Kerala, okay, we do have only two industries. One is the tourism and another one is IT. Both of does not require much kind of floating population. Only few cities in India will qualify for a metro. And if you take about the world over, around 40 or 50% of the revenue is actually they're generated from other sources by giving advertisements or letting out the real estate. So there is something called business viability. Okay, you are starting a product, you're launching a product. That product should bring some kind of revenue. Now, technological feasibility. So let me give an example. You know, Samsung and Apple are the biggest competitors. They are rivals. They are like big enemies. You know, a lot of times Samsung actually files a lot of suits against Apple that okay, Apple actually copies their products and vice versa also. Now, I think around 5 years back, okay, Samsung actually launched a model called Note 7. I don't know whether you remember this model. So this model actually came out with a lot of fanfare. Okay, everybody was very eager because it is a direct competition with the Apple. But that product was a big failure. Can you know why that product become failed? This mobile exploded at multiple times. So Samsung actually recalled few products and understood that okay, the battery supply by one of the suppliers is not good. So they recalled all the products, all the mobile phones, and they actually replaced with another battery. Again, the same problem came. So they didn't do a proper testing. But the it got a media attention because once I think in Southwest Airlines, okay, this mobile got exploded and a lot of smoke actually came from the mobile phone, and they were forced to land in the next airport. So the world over, like, a lot of media attention came. Okay, Samsung had to recall all these mobile phones, and it actually impacted a big time. Okay, there are around 5 billion revenues were lost on that particular year. Around 15 billion market capitalization, okay, were degraded, and that was because of that. A lot of new companies came into the market. For example, the Chinese company like MI, Vivo, okay, the Oppo, okay, such companies actually came because of that tragedy happened for the Samsung. So when you launch a product, we need to make sure that it should be a technologically feasible product. People's acceptability. When you launch a product, we need to make sure that people should accept it. So let me give an example. You know, Tata Nano, why it become a failure in the market? You know the story, okay? Ratan Tata, once he was traveling in Mumbai, he saw a full family traveling in a two-wheeler completely soaked in the rain, okay? So that actually triggered a thought, okay? I need to have a cheap car for common. But why it become a failure? A lot of technical glitches were there, but later on, okay, they rectified, and later on, it was a really good car, okay, and it is very easy to navigate inside the city, okay, with a good, I mean, room space, okay, leg space, everything was there, okay. It was a comparatively decent product, but despite that, despite the cheapest car, it failed terribly in the market because of one reason. Now, how do they position this car among the public? It is the cheapest car in the world. What happens if a customer purchases a cheapest car? Okay, what will be the perception of others towards him? So that really made a thought of people. Okay, hey, if I purchased a Tata Nano car, okay, what other people will think about me? So a lot of people actually take a Nano car, but it as a second car. If they want to go to a market, okay, it is very easy to navigate Tata Nano. Okay, now if you talk about recently, Tata came out with the EV. Okay, what is the name of that model? Okay, cheapest EV in the world, Tiago. Now they from that the failure, they actually say that now it is most affordable EV in the world. That is why they are positioning now rather than cheapest EV in the world. So basically, any product. So I have seen a lot of startups. They spend a lot of money, okay, but they don't understand what is the real requirement of their customers. They don't understand, okay, if I actually put a lot of research and development, okay, whether is it viable from a business point of view, whether I have put enough research and development so that, okay, the product is very, very good from a technological point of view. So these three things are very, very critical. We cannot avoid any of these three factors. So this is called human-centered design, an amalgamation of business viability, people's acceptability, and technological feasibility. Okay, now we are jumping to the main core of design thinking. Till now, I'm building the base or foundation for the design thinking. Now we are diving deep into the different stages of design thinking. Have you heard about different stages of design thinking at any point of time? How does design thinking process? What are the different stages of design thinking? So basically it talks about 5 stages. It's a very easy stages. Start with empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. I will briefly explain these stages, but we will dive deep into each stages. So empathize. So what do you mean by empathy? We are trying to understand the customers. You're putting yourself in the shoes of the customers or the users. What do you mean define? So we need to define the problem. We need to really exactly identify what is the core problem. Let me give an analogy. Okay, now suppose if you go to the doctor, okay, with some illness, let us take you have a headache. Okay, so rather than giving medicines immediately, doctor will diagnose you. Am I right? Sometimes he will ask you to go through some diagnostic test. Maybe will ask you for the blood test, and after going through the diagnosis and after going through the test, okay, he will try to understand, okay, what is the disease. Then only he will give medicines. Am I right? Otherwise, he may give a medicine which is not okay for that particular disease. So defining the problem is very, very critical. Just like a doctor, okay, who identify the exact cause. Okay, you should not give any kind of, I mean, in medical terminology, we say that, okay, when you prescribe medicine, you should diagnose it properly. So define the problem is very, very critical. So once you define the problem, the next stage is, hey, okay, can we think about some solutions? Can we think about, okay, some great ideas to solve this problem? So that is what we call as ideation. So we will talk about a lot of tools, okay, where we can generate solutions or ideas. Now, what is the next stage? What do you mean a prototype? So we feel that some of the ideas can really solve the problems of the customers. So can we create a small model? Okay, so why we are creating a small model of the product? So it will help to understand, okay, whether this model can really cater to the needs of the customer. And once you prepare a model, you try to test in the market before launching in a big way. So why we need a testing? Because if you don't do a proper testing, we cannot really identify the failures. Okay, I mean the small failures in the product. We should clearly understand, okay, whether this product is matching the expectations of the customers. Then so the entire 5 stages is an iterative process. For example, in testing, okay, we may find out that, okay, there is some problem or there is some challenge in understanding the exact requirement of the customer. So we may go to the empathize. We may again engage with the customer and try to understand the pain points. Sometimes we feel that, okay, we need to have more ideas to have a great product. So this is an iterative process. Now, we will, for example, okay, there are different models of design thinking is there. Okay, so we are focusing on something called D School. Okay, this is originated in Stanford Business School. So normally D School is considered the gold standards in design thinking, but there are other models are there. For example, Darren School of Business, SAP model is there, IBM is there. Okay, IDEO is there. IDEO is the world famous consultancy in design thinking. Accenture is there. But I would say these are all synonyms. Basically, this is the stage. First of all, understand the problem, interpreting the result, generating ideas, prototyping, and finally testing the product. So these are the 5 stages.